This is the Pan-Pacific Championships here. We are on Game 3 of the finals. Finals are a best of 5. We do have GGFight here spawning in the top left-hand corner, who is currently 2 games up 2-0. Bottom right-hand corner, we have Smace. I was actually talking to Del between those games, and there was a comment by Smace saying, oh, it's a best of 5? When will this torture end? So clearly realizing he's being outplayed. But he has picked Delta Quadrant for the map. Quite an interesting choice. Very anti-Zerg map, but it's TVT, so who cares about Zerg, really? There's a lot of bases on this map, though, if you think about it. It can turn into quite a bit of a macro map. It is quite open as well, so you can move across the middle. You can get lots of siege tank walls and move on. But then again, the bases are kind of close, so early pressure does do well here, as we see both players begin their builds with Supply Depot, which is pretty normal here. Last game of Steps of War, I just want to talk about really quickly. Really awesome tank push there, but I think GGFight is being very hesitant with his tanks. Like, you can be more aggressive, you can slowly creep him forward. He's just content on sitting where he is and waiting for his opponent to do something, just waiting for a reaction. Perhaps had a few too many bad experiences where his opponent hasn't really, done anything. He's pushed in and hasn't really won the game based on it. We do see that obviously the barracks is going up from both players. Cross positions as well, quite interesting. Obviously, the longest rush distance you can get on this map. Early pushes, though, will be viable. We have seen in the last game early pushes involving Marines and Hellions. We did have a Banshee added in by GGFight last game, which really helped him push in early, killed a few tanks, and took an advantage that way. Allowed him to just basically camp his opponent's natural, stop him from mining on half his mineral patches, and basically forced him to repair his command center for a good 5 minutes, which cost a lot of minerals, obviously. Gas going up as well. Really aren't going to see much about these guys' builds. I imagine it will be 1-1-1. They have done that or similar in the previous games. We did actually have Smace in the last game elect for a second barracks instead of the starport. Also something really interesting, neither player really going Viking heavy. I find that quite surprising. Obviously Vikings let you control air, and it's what allowed GGFight to really do a lot of that damage. If Smace here had Vikings up and was able to control that air, he would be able to obviously sight his opponent's tanks down the cliff, forcing scans at the very least, but at the most, completely demolishing his army. So maybe he needs to sort of take that on board and learn. He was a very good Brood War player, possibly new to the StarCraft scene. Not quite sure what he's done as SC2, but hey, we'll have to wait and see what he can pull out in this game here. Does lose that scouting SCV, just pinned in the corner there by that Marine. Over here, though, Smace really just getting up his factory now, getting his second gas. Actually quite interesting that second gas could maybe imply Banshees, not quite sure. Pretty early, to be honest with you, but hey, I'm not the most expert person on TVT builds. Actually, this is quite interesting. We have actually a fast expand coming in here from GGFight, looking to take an early advantage. Now, obviously he has to scout this being Smace, but if he doesn't scout this for a while, he's going to be in a very sticky situation. And when he does scout it, he's either got to attack and put pressure on his opponent, or he's got to expand himself. It really puts the pressure on him, because if he doesn't do either of those two, he's going to get completely destroyed. There's a really early command center, possibly why he hasn't got his second gas yet, just going for those extra minerals this early on. We do see Hellions being built here. I imagine we will see that early game push that he has done in previous games. Double racks being added to this, so from GGFight here, 3 racks built. No factory yet, so quite interesting, but the Hellion will come out soon. In fact, it's almost complete. In fact, it is completed, and it does come out now. Will he push with one, or will he wait for another one? It shall be interesting. Just push out, and he's going to kill his SCV. No, instead just walks past it. Looking to scout. Not quite sure. This SCV's here just to see the timing on the push out. Perhaps just scouting with that Hellion. We'll see what happens if he pulls his Marines or not. But there are a lot of Marines at the bottom here. Pulling some SCVs down as well, just migrating them to the bottom expansion here, spreading out his SCVs. But huge advantage right now. Does scout this? Does he scout the expansion? Yeah, he's seen the expansion, so he knows it's up now. His Hellion is coming in. These Marines on hold position. He's trying to micro him to save him, but he has a lot here. This Hellion won't do that much. In a very tough spot now. This is from Smace's point of view. What do you do from here? Actually, this is really, really poor micro here. Letting this Hellion do so much. Could have engaged with these Marines a lot sooner and possibly killed that Hellion. Instead, just ignore him. That's fine. Really, doesn't need to kill him. But here we have Banshees popping out now from Smace, going for that Banshee build, which was I picked it with the early gas, but yeah, he's doing that. We do have also a Tech Lab going for tanks as well, not expanding. Quite interesting. Obviously, the longer this goes on, the more advantage GGFight will get from having this extra expansion. Actually, did he scan and see that he did actually see that Banshee, also Tech Lab, also expanding behind this Banshee, but he is getting turrets up right now to deal with this. Banshee will pop out soon. Not getting Cloak. Interesting. Obviously, with Banshees, you can still micro them and kill stuff, especially on this map, because there is such wide open space around pretty much every base there is. But basically, pure Marines here from Fight. Starting to add in Marauders, going very bio. Possibly going to do a push with this. We do have one Marine here scouting forward. He does see the one Helion, 7 Marine, 1 tank push. Is that 7? Let me double check. That is actually 8 Marines, sorry. But he obviously over here has 12 Marines and a Marauder. Kind of curious. Siege Tech is done, so if he sets up and gets into a good spot, he can do a lot of damage here. But he's going to have to get into a good spot and siege up. He does siege up back here. Whoa, this could be bad. Siege Tank shoots the Helion. There could be an area. He needs to move forward and kill the tank. Spreading his Marines out, just a slight spread there. I actually like that quite a bit, and just completely demolishes that push. Loses a few SCVs for that, but hey, he's going to push back now. Few stuff trying to reinforce across the map, but that was wiped out quite quickly. Probably trying to go for that contain, but pure bio here. Is he adding on a factory yet? Still no factory. Banshee obviously over here as well, just killing off SCVs, killing what it can. Turret does react, and it suddenly gets a few shots off on that Banshee. Banshee just being really obnoxious. But at the front here, this push is going to force this command center here to lift off at the very least. There's a tank on the hill, a few units in range. All he has to do is micro out of the way of that. And now, bang, even though he's gone bio, no tanks, he does have a contain. Banshee's still being really annoying in this base here, killing off a lot of stuff, but not really pulling him that far ahead, maybe evening it up at the best. There is a turret on this low ground, and Marines going to clear this out. Banshee does get killed off, but does a lot of damage. Awesome contain here, but no tanks, which really puts him in a disadvantage. He just tank creep forward. He's going to get a lot of shots off on these Marauders here. In fact, just pulls back just in time. He needs to tack up, or he needs to do a push now, because the more tanks he gets, the worse bio gets. He's got 2 at the moment, they're both set up. Marauders are made though. What's he going to do? He's slowly pushing forward, getting to the low ground here. No, it's pulling back, choosing to pull back. Very smart move there. Just denying your opponent any way to sort of get free kills off, save your army, pull it back. If you see him tank pushing, push in when he unsieges, or pull back. Still 3 racks. I'm surprised he is not taking up to some better stuff here. Actually, he does move forward here and lose quite a bit of stuff. Just really stalemate right now. I'm actually really shocked. Stim though, Stim timing has just finished now, so he can Stim run in. He's getting cussive shells. He does scan and sees 2 tanks and 4 Marines. Will he Stim and run in? Looks like he might. He has split his units up to avoid this. Sends a few Marines in, takes the shots on them, does Stim and run in, and is going to kill off these tanks. There are 2 on the upper ground here. In fact, I think he might have underestimated how many tanks there were here, and will probably lose his push. Wow, that is actually quite bad for him. His contain that he kind of had has been pushed away. He does hold that, and tech-wise, he is behind. He's only now getting a factory up. He has no starport, obviously, without a factory. And Smash here, Smace, sorry, looking like he's in a very good spot here. We do see some more bio coming down here, but honestly, there's a lot of stuff there. Tank is under siege, though. We get some quick kills in here before that tank sieges up. Tank does siege up, though, and he just pulls back to the relative safety of it at the natural expansion here. Adding on more barracks here, Smace, he's got 4 up now. He's going for his second factory, which just finishes now. Really ramping up production. I think Smace's build is actually pretty solid on this game. Playing quite strong here. Despite those last games, I think mostly though it's due to GGFight going for this bio army. I'm not sure if it works too well. He didn't do that much damage with it. Basically made the command center lift off for maybe a minute. He's going for his backdoor natural here. Looking to take a third, whereas Smace is not. Smace instead opting to get some more buildings up, getting more tanks out, getting more bio structures up, and getting some upgrades. Smace is well going for his pre-igniter again. Saw this on game 1. Got Blue Flame Helions up, which really didn't really use them. So I'm kind of surprised. He must use them for something. And maybe he has a drop or something worked out where he uses them. But hey, anyway. Still, Smace has got. I'm not going to say advantage. It's pretty even. Let's check. Yep, actually equal on unit count, 86 all. So can't get more equal than that. Although I must say, Smace's unit count here with the tanks looks stronger. Just plain and simply, I think the third base here is what could tip the difference. He does need to get tanks up. He is now just starting to add on a starport. No reactor for it yet. He's starting to get tanks out. Siege Tech getting done as well. So he will be able to start his own tank pushing, but he will be behind. Although I'm quite surprised that Smace doesn't have more tanks. He still only has 2, unless I'm completely missing some. No, I'm not. Instead, just macroing up a bit, getting more bio out. But only 2 tanks. I think that could be an error. could be. You definitely have to be building tanks in this matchup. Honestly, he's almost caught up in tanks. Let's just put it that way. Tank research is done. Banshees medivacs are being made here. Do have a drop going in the back here, full of 4 Helions with pre-igniter. So he is making use of pre-igniter this game. Is he going to drop here at the third? He is going to drop off. Drops off all 4. Would like to see him drop 2, to be honest with you. But still, Helions are quick. He's going to get a lot of kills here. Forces the army to move back here now. And wow, just does a lot of damage now. He picks up and moves away. Awesome little harassment there. Gets free SCVs and really doesn't lose much at all. He's going to move into the main now. Basically, yeah, pretty awesome work there. Dropping down next to a tank. Actually moving to the natural, sorry. The tank there basically denying any sort of SCV harassment he could do there. Because if he moved away from that tank, he would get destroyed. He's just picking off the back here, just moving back and forward. Just chase the medevac off and does kill off those finally. But Smace here, still behind. So, still on 2 base, sorry. I say behind in a very non-literal sense, but 2 base, longer this goes on, the worse. He's pushing out now with a decent bio army. Ooh, counter push at the same time. This could be very bad. GGFight is out of position, but he does see it. It needs to siege up real quickly, or it's going to be in a very bad spot here. Yeah, it does siege up, covers that entire middle. That's a very good siege. It covers up pretty much every entryway to his base, and Smace just happy to sit there. Oh, Smace looking to take the gold expo. Nice move there. Gotta say, first 2 games he didn't look that impressive, but this game, kind of smart decision making there, taking the gold and getting tanks early, obviously. GGFight could have done this a bit better. Tanks early. 1-1-1 builds are so strong if you don't do any sort of damage with that early bio push. Medevac there, scouting forward, just seeing what's going on. Controlling that tower is quite big, gives your tanks so much range there. Basically, yeah. So, really quick now, we do actually have Sif back to help me co-cast the rest of this game. How was your dinner?
Mate, I had crust pizza. For anyone out there in the Sydney region, get onto crust.com.au. It is the best pizza
in Sydney. We have a push coming in now, right now. Hate to interrupt your dinner conversation, but tanks destroying Marines. You've been watching this game. You've been in here spectating. As you
I have been watching. This has been really good, man. It's interesting to see the difference here with Fight actually going for a bio push to start with. I thought that was really cool because it kind of caught Smace a bit off guard because he was maybe expecting the same build again, and then it allowed him to get the early lead. But I also like how Smace came back and managed to push it back that the initial attack, and then he's done really well to kind of get back in the game. Although you know, the army size is the same, the income is about the same. Although what do you call it? Fight has some more harvesters, but he's obviously just got full saturation and.
So 3 bases though. You got to give him that.
Yeah,
pulling back
true.
though. Not sure why. Maybe just saw a superior tank army. Who do you think's winning though? That's my question. Like, this look pretty even.
I think it's even Stevens, buddy. I think you've got like a more or less even army size, 171 to 160, with Fight slightly in the lead. I think you've got pretty even map control. You've also got reasonably even bases. The only thing I'd like to see Smace do is concentrate less on doing like an army spread with his troops, but you know, concentrate on getting that income raise. He's got that gold there he can take advantage of. Yeah, he could transfer a lot of SCVs that he's got in his main, like mining off 2 patches, man. Like,
but he has been down in expansion for so long in this game. Like, GGFight's third went up so long ago. In fact, GGFight floating 1700, 1300 right now. But he's not in the unit cap, so you got to forgive him for that, I guess. And he has actually loaded up a medevac. Is he going to drop this? Where would you drop it?
And it's Marines. So you go Marines, you're obviously going to go to the first natural expansion, which is the protected one. That's where he's going to expect the SCVs to be. And it looks like if I follow his rally points, it's exactly where he's going. But he might spot the gold there. And the thing is, you know, Marine drops are so effective at just demolishing
there is a planetary
SCVs
fortress there, so no, I think that's pretty much safe.
I think they'll be out of range though. Like if you had the Marines behind middle line, the fortress, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it?
We'll see in a second. He has spotted it, obviously, but obviously he hasn't reacted to it yet.
He's going to go. See, this is a bad decision due to the fact that the natural's got a turret and only 3 mules there. He's going to be so disappointed. Oh no, taking fire from the turret. Marine's going to run in and try and do some damage.